Climax is a film by Gaspar Noé. Now, I've only seen one of his films, the infamous Irreversible. I watched this movie in film school. It was, I borrowed it. I didn't watch it at film school. But it's one of those haunting films that stays with you because it's specifically designed to nauseate and shock the viewer, from its opening swirl to the hardcore violence to the assault sequence. And the movie's done in reverse, so the assault sequence is the climax of the film. But if you watch the movie again, there's little details that make it more horrifying. So that movie, I haven't watched any of his other films because he's pretty extreme, but a friend of mine recommended this movie, let me borrow it, so I decided to put it on. This one is about a group of dancers. They're being recruited to tour Europe and maybe the US, and they are practicing in an abandoned school. However, at the after party, someone has spiked the sangria with LSD, and as the dance members sort of succumb to the effects, sort of a build-up about an hour, and then the last 40 minutes or so is a hallucinatory trip where everyone's just sort of like spiraling out. But this movie's pretty interesting. It starts off with like a bunch of interviews with all the dancers. None of them have ever acted before, so this is like their debut, and they're there for the dancing sequences. And there's the choreographer, and she's in charge, and then there's the DJ, and there's a kid there too, and a woman who runs the whole thing. So those three are the sort of main, not really the main, but there's a lot of different personalities, and there's a little bit of a roughness to the casting because these are all like just non-actors. So the whole movie's improvised in terms of dialogue and story too. So there's a lot of infighting and drama and rivalries and people trying to sleep with each other. It really feels like a catty, sort of egotistical group of people who are trying to outshine one another or get with one another. It's a really interesting sort of dynamic because this little microcosm then explodes into a chaos, a vibrant chaos where you have no control over yourself. You just start crying, or start trying to fight someone or trying to kill them, and people just turn on each other on a dime. And I guess they're locked in because it's super cold out, it's wintry. But sometimes the marketing makes it feel like this is supposed to be like a thriller, but it's not. It's more of an experimental film because it's not about who actually dosed everyone with the LSD. It's more about trying to survive till the next morning and trying to keep yourself together. It's not I'm like a murder mystery or anything like that. It's definitely more of an experimental trip to see what you can just sort of come up with. And it's based off a true story. I don't know how extreme the original event went, but this is a really interesting experiment from Gaspar Noé. I like the acting. I mean, the dance sequences are really cool. Didn't like the credits in the middle of the film. That was just kind of weird, but overall, the movie definitely evokes some sort of primal, nature of humanity, and it's just a trip, basically a wild trip. So I give Climax a 6 out of 10.